Viewers, Mike here. Hey, if you're going to have stock left over on the job, take the time to stamp the type of steel in it so you can identify it later. 2 years from now, you'll never remember what it is. So today we're making a top nut and locking handle for the top of my tool post so that we can free up that box end wrench that you see on the left side of the video and get that back in my toolbox where it belongs. And now we'll take some measurements, get the carriage stop set, and basically get ready for cutting. And this is 4140 steel. It's not pre-hardened, but it's tough. And we'll start out with about a 16 thousandths per revolution feed rate and probably 550 RPMs. Might say I'm designing this on the fly. We'll be taking the OD from about 2.5 inches to 2 1/4. I'm using a TNMG insert here, and I know I should probably be using a WNMG insert, but I just want to kind of see what's going to happen here. And we really don't have much metal to remove. We'll take about 50 thousandths per pass and see how the lathe handles it. These chips are coming off here like snakes, and I think it's because I don't have much depth of cut, because certainly we have enough crossfeed. Now here's the secret to breaking chips. If you have a good quality insert with a chip breaker on it, you know, it's just a matter of having enough crossfeed and depth of cut to where the chip coming off has enough mechanical strength to curl around and break itself. And I see a lot of frustration out there because you also have to have a lathe with enough horsepower and rigidity to handle that kind of load. Oftentimes it is the lathe, and I say don't beat yourself up over it. This lathe will handle it, and no doubt I could play around and get the perfect chip. But chips don't make you money, that's the part you throw away. So better to just focus on getting the job done as efficiently as you can. This poor insert has been used quite a bit, and I've often thought that if I had a carbide grinder, I wouldn't hesitate to just give it a touch-up, and I don't think it would hurt the geometry at all, and probably double the life. You couldn't sharpen it up to a razor edge because that wouldn't hold up with carbide, it would just chip off. Or if your insert was chipped or cracked, you know, that's a throwaway. But, you know, bringing it back to a nice crisp, you know, 5 thousandths radius on the cutting edge, you know, probably would extend the life quite a bit. And I know inserts are cheap, but it doesn't take long to touch them up either. Also, some of these cheap Chinese inserts I think could stand a little touch-up before you even use them. If any of you out there have touched-up inserts, I'd sure be curious as to how it's working out for you. I started to work on this angle before I turned the camera on. Oops. And I used both hands to turn the handle on the compound. The object is to use a constant smooth velocity for a good consistent finish. And I just cut this loose from the bar with my bandsaw, and now we'll just face it off. Now I just did some checking, and I don't have a internal threading boring bar that'll fit in the required bore. So I guess we'll just tap it. Here I'm working on the handle, and I didn't have any stock the right size, so we'll just cut it down from 1 inch. And I'm starting to get some pretty good chatter, so I'll just back off on the depth of the cut. And now we just taxi along and look good doing it. My finish just went to heck. I think I lost the edge off my insert. We're just not worried about this finish until we start getting down to the finish pass. I'm holding this cardboard up here to try to get most of the chips in the chip pan. That way I won't have to sweep them off the floor. I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to that. Here's the finish pass. Here we neck it down for a 1/2 13 thread. Now we cut it loose from the bar, and we'll take it back to the lathe and size it for 5/16 18, which will fit a ball that I already have in my possession. After that, we'll take it to the mill and put a couple of flats on that so that we can tighten it up on the nut. First we center drill it, and then we'll bore it to 709 thousandths, which is the tap drill size for an M20 by 2 thread.